just introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Tariq Shah. I'm the Chief Executive of the Vigo Group. We are the developers for the Trinity House scheme on Cambridge Street.
And the Trinity House scheme then, that was a formal retail unit, wasn't it, that you're now converting into to flats, isn't it, to apartments?
That's right. So originally this was a single retail unit across ground and first floor.
Yeah.
As times have changed, it merged into 2 retail units on ground with retail on the first floor. And as town centres and city centres have changed, that wasn't required anymore. So what we've got now is we've got potentially up to 4 retail units in here actually. So 2 larger ones that face the main road, body care staying as a long-standing tenant, an opportunity for a new retailer to come in here into the second unit. Then we've got an opportunity for a smaller unit at the rear, which might suit a yoga studio, a gym, something similar to that. And then what we've created here on the front is a small kiosk space that'd be great for a startup business. Somebody who was looking to set up a coffee shop or a jeweller's or something that, an opportunity to get somebody going in a really high footfall location.
That's
in the
the
town
space
centre.
just to the left in the body.
That's the space just to the left there, yeah. We've got that's the first of our new shop fronts that have gone in there. And then upstairs we've got 14 new apartments going in around a central courtyard, which will form a bit of a communal area, for all of that scheme.
And I suppose on the street, is this the only residential development on the street? It's all retail, isn't it? So
I think this is the first
unusual.
one now. This is relatively unusual. We're already seeing though others coming forwards with other schemes. So I think down at the other end of the street, we've got there's a residential opportunity up there. Somebody's looking at residential in there, and we're already seeing, we're starting to see that transition. So this building here, when we first acquired ours, was looking quite tired, quite derelict, and actually they brought that back into life now with a cozy club upstairs at the moment. Understand that might be changing, and some retail on the ground floor. But it's continuously adding vibrancy to the place.
And I know before we started this video, we were sort of chatting about why this is the right development then, and it's not just almost like a decision based on, you couldn't get a retail unit in there. It's a conscious decision, isn't it? And it's something that you've done in other areas, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a way forward, not just from a business point of view, for the town centre as well, isn't it?
So what we believe is that if we want to make sure we've got vibrant town centres and city centres going forwards, and I think that's really important, the way we use our retail spaces, our urban areas, has really changed. The days of when we were maybe younger, going out to the town to do a bit of shopping, have a day out, I think they've really moved on. And so what we're seeing now is if we want to make our town and city centres vibrant places, we need a better mix of uses. So not just retail, but retail, leisure, really keen on the work they've done in Barnsley to bring health to the high street, residential as well. And if we want to make our retail spaces work, then actually we've got to make them more convenient for people than going on Amazon and ordering something for next day delivery. So it's a conscious decision to try and influence the way that our town centres really develop. And we think Harrogate's got really great opportunities because the facilities here are so incredible. The connections are great, into Leeds in almost no time at all, into York in no time, and directly into London. And that's really important.
And is that the sort of person or couple then you think would take these units? Someone that maybe wants to have those facilities on their doorstep, and also possibly sort of commuting into other cities then, like you say, like London.
So I think somebody who wants to be at the heart of those connections, so really easily able to access different places, but also somebody who wants to be able to travel to leave a place. So being in the city centre, being in a secure block, is really valuable from the perspective of being able to travel and go away. And it won't be right for everybody. That's probably a really important thing, that actually no place is right for everyone. But for people who want those facilities on their doorstep, who really want to be well connected, and who are at the right point in their life for that, I think it's going to be a great scheme. And it's a great location.
And looking at Harrogate sort of generally, then, if you had a magic wand or a lot of money to spend on Harrogate, where would you spend it? What would you do with the town to develop it? I know there's there's always going to be some negativity, and people will look at empty units and put the finger of doom, if you like, at the town centre. But considerably better place than many in many town centres at the moment, for sure. And what would you do?
And I think the challenges that are faced in Harrogate are different to the ones that are faced in other town and city centres around the UK. We've done quite a lot of work in Doncaster, looking at the city centre there and thinking about how we can influence that, both directly through the work that we've done, but also through working with local authority, working with community, working with partners. And I think the thing that stands out is that actually there's no one answer to, even in Harrogate, there's no one single answer. And it needs a real layered approach. It's bringing together as many different partners as possible to try and understand what communities want from the space. And then it's trying to bring together funding streams in different parts of the programme. So for example, it's bringing forward public realm works. We're standing on what's really quite a nice high street at the moment, but work in the public realm that helps to facilitate other investment elsewhere. Work around the train station, I think, is really important. Improve that accessibility, helping people that are coming in by train and by bus, or trying to get out to other places by train and by bus to make that more accessible and more flexible and a better opportunity. So I think there's a whole a series of layers of different things that needs to be done, and we can only bring one part of that. But what we will do is work with other partners to try and support any transition that we can.
And do you think Harrogate is working with you enough then to bring that change through?
One of the things that's been really noticeable here is how embracing a variety of different organisations have been. So one of the first things we did was we talked to the bid, we talked to the local authority when it was Harrogate, and we've talked to North Yorkshire, and they've been supportive, they've been welcoming, they've been efficient. And that really helps, not necessarily in terms of doing anything tangible or practical, but helping us to understand the environment, helping us to engage with the community locally, but also making sure that the sort of administrative processes that they go through in a really smooth way. And our experience, and I know that might be different to other people's experiences, but our experience has been that that's all been really positive.
And it does seem to be the way to do it. I followed various planning applications over the years, and those that engage and talk to councils and people are the ones that don't have the angry mobs that then, protest against what they're doing.
We've got to be honest, though, that construction development change is always a problem. We're in the background of our audio right now. We can probably hear the noise that comes from a construction site.
Let's have a walk down.
and so we've got to be open and honest that whatever we're doing, that's always going to have some kind of impact. But trying to make sure and trying to demonstrate that actually the long-term benefits of the work that we're doing here outweigh the costs that come in the short term. And hopefully we've been able to do that. And I think that one of the good things in Harrogate is that partners seem to understand that and welcome that transition.
So where's the development at the moment then? There's sort of scaffolders in at the moment. Is it fairly early days then on the?
So we're spring summer. We're looking at completion on the scheme. We're hoping to open a show flat in the early part of summer, ready for people to come around, have a look around, and see what the residential really looks and feels like. Demonstrate the quality of the scheme in there, and a lot of the work so far has been around taking out what was there before. So stripping the building back. Getting a really good understanding of the building, and then starting to rebuild back with the new infill that we need to have.
What sort of age is the building then? Is it you're dealing with?
So I think we're you're testing my knowledge now. I think we're in 1950s, 1960s. I think it is from memory, and it's been through a range of iterations, obviously in that time. One of the nice things about working with existing buildings, and particularly with older buildings of that sort of timescale, is that they're built in a very solid way. So the construction we've got, the base we've got to work from is really good. And then what we're doing is we're building back with modern materials into there. One of the interesting things here is that all the apartments will be heated by air source heat pumps, which is probably the most sustainable way of doing that. We're insulated to a really high standard, which helps to deal with some of the issues around running costs of buildings, helps to deal with some of the sustainability and environmental issues around building. And obviously what we know is that the most sustainable buildings are the ones that already exist. So the more work that we can do to retrofit those buildings in locations that are really sustainable, the better our sustainability is.
And we're now at the back of the building. It's much noisier than I thought it was going to be. And you were saying that this is going to have a significant, well, more than a facelift, isn't it? Really. So.
Yeah. So even standing here now, what we see here is significantly different to what we saw when we first came to look around the building. The big extension that extended right out to the back of the site is gone. So we've brought the building back in. We'll see a complete change in terms of this will be a white backing onto the building, reflecting light, creating some, creating a real feel of openness here. We've got some parking going in at the back here. We've got closed bin stores in, so for our scheme, instead of having bins out on display, they're going to be inside a closed space, closed bike stores as well to make sure we've got secure cycle parking. But one of the really fantastic things about the job that we do is actually we get to see, for the residents that are living at the end of the street here, for the businesses that are coming along here, for the people that are walking up here, the outlook into this building from the outside will be materially different to the one that they started with.
So what can Harrogate expect to see then? Just a few months of development. And are they already being marketed then, the properties?
They are being marketed by Preston Baker. And we've got a huge amount of interest in the scheme. I think I can say that this is the most the scheme that's had the most interest of all of those that we've ever done, both from local residents and from those from further afield. That it's been attracting interest from people wanting to relocate into Harrogate, as well as those looking to transition within the place itself. And I think that's because it offers something very different to almost anything else in Harrogate. So that information is out there and available at the moment, but also we'll be continuing to do that as time goes on. And I think one of the really important points will be when we can get people into there, and we'd love to welcome you back when we can get you into there, so you can start to really see and get a feel for the spaces that we've created there.
Tariq, thank you very much.
Not at all, thank you.